Come to the part where we get to introduce our speaker, Susan Bauer. She joined the Chapel of Life in 1987 after attending the chapel services and classes since 1985. She transferred her membership to the Metaphysical Chapel of Life in 2019 after returning to the peninsula and is currently serving on the chapel board of directors. You were president one time, weren't you?
No,
No, vice president?
maybe.
Yeah.
I've had a couple positions.
Cool. Yeah, it's a good challenge if you ever get interested to serve, do some real work. From a child, she was always been interested in understanding why some individuals developed illnesses and diseases. There's a lot of books out why people get sick. Some things are like what they carry in their subconscious is linked to some pretty bad illnesses and disease. They call it disease because your body and your mind are not you're not releasing everything. You're holding stuff and you're keeping it in memory in your body, and it turns to bad things. Illnesses and diseases, which has taken her on a lifetime journey to study and enhanced her connection with spirit. She credits the Chapel of Life, where she first learned to meditate, the Memorial Spiritual Church, and the Edgar Cayce Association for Research and Enlightenment, and for providing her foundational metaphysical and spiritual understanding, guidance, and the tools that have served her well through the years, often to her own surprise and delight. Susan has been a practitioner of the Jitsu, an energy harmonizing modality since 2001. She is a Cayce certified life coach, a certified transpersonal hypnotherapist, practices body talk, brain balancing, Acunet, emotional releasing techniques, and studied dowsing with Raymond Gracie. She most enjoys receiving and sharing self-help information. Susan wishes everyone a personal connection with the source, as we all do. With that, introduce Susan Bauer. Give her a hand. Welcome her to the podium.
Thanks, Carl. I know that pronouncing Jitsu is not always easy. But when I look at all of you and you folks on Zoom as well, I know you're all seekers like me. You're looking towards having a closer connection with Source and making the best life possible. And so some of what I'm going to say, you already know, and so some of this, I hope, which is I'm going to talk about self-care, will encourage you to pursue self-knowledge, self-awareness, and self-understanding, and the clearing of any blocks that are keeping you from connecting with Source and living your best life. Now, I'm not talking about the self-care of the body, getting good night's sleep and all those things. That's important. It's all important. I'm talking about self-care of the energetic levels that comprise the human energetic field, that energetic field that surrounds us. Our energetic field is our major defense and ally in the whole frame of keeping our mind, body, and spirit healthy. Therefore, self-care of the energetic field must include looking at the traumas we experience in our lodge there. And I know Carl mentioned, as he introduced me, about things we hold that affect our health. And this is where they're held. Now, traumatic experiences include those that we gained in this lifetime, from childhood, sometimes even from the womb. They come from past lives. And they also are handed down generationally from our ancestors. They create subconscious responses that then create habits in our lives that affect us. They affect the way we view life and how we respond to life. They affect us mentally and physically. They hold us back from spiritual growth. They keep us from completely expressing our free will and thus living our best life. Because we feel ashamed, we feel guilty, we feel unwanted, we feel like we're a burden. Any words you want to put to it. And they affect our bodies by opening opportunities for health issues. Any form of abuse you can think of, and any health issue. I have learned to call these traumatic experiences that are lodged in the energetic field of my body as wounds, and I'm looking to heal all those wounds. That's what I'm working on. You know, when we're born into this world, we're born into relationship systems that provide us experiences and then memories that we carry through the rest of our lives. Science has done many studies on relationships, and there's one I ran across called Adverse Childhood Experiences. And that study concluded that if a child experienced any one of the following traumas: mother treated violently or abused, an incarceration in the family, substance abuse in the family, mental illness in the family, separation or divorce, there was a statistically higher probability that that child would in fact have health diseases, health issues later, to include anxiety, depression, addiction. And this is pretty heavy. Cancer and heart disease. I have come to consider trauma as an umbrella term, divided into big T and little t. Big T to me includes all the things as a study of adverse childhood experiences indicated, and also any other emotional, physical, or mental issue that we happen to experience or observe. So little t, what's that? To me, that's everyday life. You know, we're a very producing, pushing society. So there's a myriad of ways we have stress every day. And we know from studies that chronic stress causes inflation, causes the cortisol in our body to increase, causes the body to manufacture other chemicals and actions that lead us to all kinds of disease. So back to the human body's energetic field. This is where our traumatic memories are held. They pass down generationally from our ancestors. I mean, they even affect our DNA. They may come through our prior life, and they're memories from this life experiences. So the good news, and there really is good news, that we're blessed with help. The approaches, and they're varied, that I've looked at, and there are many of our approaches, and I know Carl is offering some of them, and others we have trained in this area. They all seem to be associated with two core components. And one is connecting with your higher self to identify this experience, and then releasing them with the help of Source. You know, we've entered a really amazing time for clearing traumatic blocks of any kind. The theme of the solar eclipse and the new moon in Aries on the 8th of April, just barely a week ago, is healing the relationship with self. Now, I understand this energy coming in for healing is going to last through October, possibly November. And someone who I trust very much shared the following with me, and I'm going to read it because I think it's important for me to get it correct and absolutely spot on. This is an opportunity for a total reset of our individuality, of our personal identity, consciousness, and resilience. This energy pouring in at this time will serve to illuminate our shadows, unearth deep-seated insecurities and traumas, with the aim to recognize them, move to the next phases of our healing, transforming them into sources of strength and enlightenment on our journey. Again, I understand this time period. This opportunity will last through October and November. Of course, it's always there. We always have help from folks in the chapel. So from a personal perspective, I seem to be pushed, even prodded, if you will, into investigating my traumas or memories. It first started with a book I read that said, these are the experiences that you might need to clear from a prior life, like the life you had where you had the most power and you misused it. From there, it seemed to have opened up a channel. Things pop into my head. It might be when I'm brushing my teeth, taking a shower, really any time I slow my brain down enough to listen. And then from those, I use various methods to find out more information. I may meditate. I will often use my pendulum and dowels. Sometimes I will ask a question and take it to bed at night and get an answer. And I'll also connect with my higher self and do journaling. All of that works for me for additional information. Also, for many years, I used a method for releasing stuck emotions, both positive and negative. And yes, positive emotions that are stuck can hold you back. But that's another story, maybe another talk. The method I used has worked well for me and for others. I've used it for years, clearing emotions. But when I started working on what seemed to be the big T traumas for me, I really needed help. I needed more than just me and my guides and angels. For example, I decided to pursue the root cause of a skin rash I showed up last year. I used my pendulum. I did all the things you would think of. Oh, is it food? Is it toxins? Everything. It turned out that the root causes included a trauma that went back 34 generations. On my father's mother's side, all female. So if one estimates or assumes 20 years for the average generation, that's 680 years. This happened back in the 1300s. So again, my experience with regard to releasing stuck emotions normally works. And I could see it moving, I could feel it, but it wasn't going. So I had to seek help. And we're blessed with some amazing spiritual healers in this church. Another interesting part of this process for me in releasing memories is the aspect of witnessing or awareness. I become aware and kind of know that the experience is happening. A few weeks ago, a memory popped up from my teenage years, and it happened with my father. Something I hadn't thought about, I can't tell you in how many years. As a witness, I recognized the relationship experience was about attempted control that created fear in me. Fear, big deal. But I also was aware that from my father's side, he was attempting to protect me. But what lodged in my energetic field was fear. We all are receiving a great amount of energy coming in. We're in an ascension process. We are everyone, everything, this whole planet. So these energies are opening up new paths of growth, an opportunity to perform major resets and upgrades in our lives. We're being pushed, some of us even prodded with physical issues to look into. But these memories that we clear, they're holding us back from living our best lives. And clearing ancestral things that are handed down to us. By clearing them, I'm not only clearing myself, I'm clearing my ancestors on the other side of the veil so that should they decide to reincarnate, they don't have to bring this stuff back. I'm clearing my whole family line. I'm clearing those that come after me. So clearing that trauma that occurred in my ancestor 34 generations ago, everything to do with that stops with me. It goes no further. So in closing, this is a powerful time, an amazing opportunity. If you make time for self-knowledge, self-awareness, self-understanding of the memories that are in your energetic field. Yes, we can eliminate the blocks to all that's good and healthy, really. And we can set the stage for healing and the health of our body, mind, and spirit, and thus new beginnings. And just one more thing I wanted to tidbit, and my astrology friends may know this, but did you know that 7 planets were in alignment with the sun on the 8th of April? Now, I thought maybe you would know, it's amazing to me, 7 planets. And when in my looking into the energetic field, there are many layers, but the ones that keep coming up and the ones that seem to be channeled are 7. The 7 planets, and there may not be direct correlation, but the 7 planets are Uranus, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, Saturn, and Mars. Pretty amazing. Well, thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.